Welcome to the another experiment of fluid mechanics lab. The experiment what we are trying to or conducting today is orifice meter. So as we know, there are different kinds of flow measuring devices. The reason to measure flow is to calculate or to know the or to be aware of the flow rate which is flowing through a pipe, which can be a open channel or a closed channel. So today we are discussing one of the flow measuring devices which deals with the closed channel flow. So there are different kinds of flow meters in closed channel flow, which is generally used as venturi meter, orifice meter and nozzle meter. So now we have taken the topic of orifice meter. So orifice is a plate with a hole. So it is a very simple device, and also the experimental arrangement is also very simple. So here you can see that there is an experimental setup in the laboratory. Along with that, we just require a stopwatch. So if we need to understand the principle of working of orifice, this is the orifice plate and there is a hole in the plate. So this is the side view or a section view. So here we can see the flow is converging by the time it reaches the orifice. It reaches to the contraction vena and then it starts to expand. Here the hollow space is not exactly the hollow space, it looks like so, but here there is a stagnation of fluid, whatever we are making the fluid to flow through the pipe. So this is the stagnation point. Here the fluid swells and it will be almost stationary at that point. So here at this point there is one pressure tapping, and at this point there is another pressure tapping. So this is one pressure tapping and this is another pressure tapping. So from here it is connected to one side of the YouTube manometer. Here it is connected to the another limb of YouTube manometer, which is filled with mercury. So when there is no flow, both the limbs will be showing the same level. That means whenever the mercury reading in the both the columns, that is left and right columns, are same, that means it is understood there is no flow taking place. Once the flow starts, there will be a deviation in the level of mercury. Why? Because as soon as the flow starts, the pressure here tends to drop and here the pressure tends to rise. This is what creates the difference in mercury manometer reading. So the very key elemental reading which is to be taken is the YouTube manometer reading. So that can be taken when the experiment is conducted or carried on. So here we have written the tabular column to find the flow rate. The flow measuring device is the only purpose is to measure the instantaneous flow rate of the flowing liquid. So where all it can be used? It can be used when a certain amount of flow rate needs to be fixed to an application. Suppose it might be a refrigeration unit, or it might be a air conditioning unit, or it might be a chiller unit, or suppose if in today's IC engine or in today's automobiles, the sensor, if it is instructing for the flow of fuel should be so and so to the engine, also then we require a flow rate. So the flow rate, suppose if it is, if we see into the hospitals, the oxygen pipes are there, and when the oxygen is connected to a particular patient, the flow rate needs to be fixed. The flow rate will vary from patient to patient and situation to situation. So it has a wide variety of application. Okay. So the very key things which are required is the input data columns. Here is, this is the manometer reading, is the input for what? To measure the flow rate. And next, this Q is in, there is also a rotometer which gives out the discharge in liters per minute. The actual purpose of the flow measuring device is to measure flow rate, but in this particular experiment we are trying to calibrate the flow measuring device and find its CD value. So the main aim of the experiment is to find the coefficient of discharge, but the device is used to measure the flow rate. So here we are trying to find the coefficient of discharge, or we can say we are trying to calibrate the particular orifice plate. So here the input terminal column requires H1, which is one limb of the manometer. H2 is the another limb of the manometer, YouTube manometer, and H1 difference of H2 is the net effective difference between the left and right of the YouTube manometer. And since it is a mercury filled YouTube manometer, now I need to, now the difference of head is being shown in mm of Hg or centimeters of Hg. Now it is to be converted into mm of water or meters of water. So only we have converted from mercury into H2O or water. So this we can let us try to understand this once we conduct the experiment and come back. So we have already taken the experimental value. That means to say we have already conducted the experiment and we have brought down the results over here. So to understand in a better fashion, let us see how we have conducted the experiment earlier to extract the values. Okay, now we are standing with the experimental setup, which is consisting of venturi, orifice and nozzle flow measuring devices. So the very first one is the venturi, the second one is the orifice. So in the same order, this belongs to venturi. As there are three flow meters, every individual meter has its own YouTube manometer. The first one belongs to venturi. The second one, which is of orifice, is connected to the second YouTube, and the last one, which is the nozzle meter, is connected to the third one or this particular YouTube manometer. So now since we are dealing with the orifice meter, now we need to concentrate on the YouTube manometer, which is in the center. So here we have a YouTube manometer. So the tube cannot be seen here, but once if you have the top view of this device, you can see that it is clearly visible. It is a YouTube. That means this and this tube are connected with the U shape. So at present, it is the mercury level is in its default position, and the default position means to say the left and right limb both are of the same level. That means with the basic understanding, we can understand that the pressure of the water or the fluid on the left and the pressure on the right, since they both are at the same level, the intensity on both the limbs as it is same, also the levels are also same. If the pressure here on the left increases, that means to say the mercury level decreases. On the same, on the right hand side, if the pressure decreases, the level increases. So by looking into the difference in mercury level, we will be noting down the reading of the left limb and the right limb, and then on the calculation, that is on the tabular column, we extract the effective difference of mercury between left and right. So now the walls, there are 3 walls of the respective flow measuring devices. Since we are conducting the RFIS experiment, the venturi wall needs to be closed, and also the nozzle meters wall also need to be closed. Whereas this RFIS meters wall need to be open, not totally open, it should be partially open. Okay, now it is almost partially open and these 2 walls are totally closed. That means to say there is a pump beneath this reservoir tank which will make the flow to only happen through this circuit, that is where the orifice is placed. Now by switching on the motor, we can start the experiment. Before that, the actual reading which is flowing through this pipe or through the orifice is noted through a rotometer, which is always mounted in the vertical fashion. Why? Because it works on the principle of gravity, so and also buoyancy. So for the gravity and buoyancy to work in perfect combination or coordination, it should be mounted in a perfect vertical manner. So now we will be switching on the experiment and try to take down the readings. So stop Satish. Go. Okay, now we will switch on the pump. So here there are 2 buttons, one is green and red. By switching on the green, we can start the pump. Now we can see the rotometer is pointing somewhere between 10 and 20. So now it is exactly at 14 liters per minute. So let us start. See, as soon as the pump is on, we are witnessing the deflection. Let me keep the reading at 20. We can start with any reading. So now the rotometer reading, I have set it to 20 liters per minute. When that is so, here the left side column reading, here it is 4.5 and the minus, that is I am here taking above 0 as 4.5, and on the right hand side now it has gone in the downward direction from the default position, and that is coming out to be as 4.7. So here we have got 3 values of trial 1. One is of rotometer reading of trial 1, which is 20 liters per minute, and here on the left side column of the YouTube monometer we are getting 4.5 above the from the default scale, and on the other side we are getting a value of minus 4.7. Moving on to the next trial, we need to adjust the valve so that now I am adjusting it to 24 liters per minute. Now once we have changed the flow rate, and also in the flow rate here it is 24 liters per minute. Now we can once again witness the variation. Now here in the YouTube manometer on the left hand side, it is showing 6.7. That is 6.7 is the mm. Sorry, 6.7 is the centimeters, and on the left hand side, it is showing from the default position, it has gone down by minus 6.9 centimeters. So here we have completed the another trial. So moving on to the next trial. So let me make it into 28. Now I have set the rotometer reading for a value of 28 liters per minute. Now let us once again take the reading of the YouTube manometer. The left hand side is reading has to be 8.7 centimeters, and on the right hand side it has gone down by once again 8.9 centimeters. So these are the only three input values what we need to take from the experimental setup. Rest of the things will be after tabulation on the board. The values will be substituted to the formulas, and then the actual discharge, the theoretical discharge, the actual discharge is got from the rotometer, and finally we will be getting the ratio of actual by theoretical, so that we find the CV of the audit. Okay, now as we have completed the experiment, or we have taken the reading out of the experiment, we have already seen how to take the readings from the experiment. So once the readings are got, we had already plotted this earlier. Just we went to the experiment to see how to take the readings. So these are the readings we have taken, or we have got till here, and till here is the readings which has been extracted from the experimental setup. From here it is all calculated result of the extracted values from the experimental grid or setup. So this is all in terms of centimeters we have taken. So on the first trial, on the left side limb of the YouTube manometer, we got 4.5 centimeter, which has got raised, and on the other side we got minus 4.7. So the net effective difference came out to be 9.2. So this 9.2, it is in centimeters. Now if I convert it into meters, it becomes 0.092 meters. Then this 0.092 meters is of mercury. So since YouTube manometer is filled with mercury, the difference also gets expressed in terms of mercury. So only we are written as meters of Hg. Now to get it in meters of water, so just let me say the capital H is in terms of meters of head in meters of water. Small h is denoted, or it is the notation in terms of meters of mercury or Hg. So this is rho m, that is density of mercury, density of water minus 1. So by applying the head difference in terms of mercury into density of mercury by density of water minus 1. So finally I will get the head available, which was in terms of mercury. By applying to this formula, I can get it in terms of head in terms of meters of water. Thus we can clearly see that this and this meaning is same, but the expression here it is in terms of mercury, here it is in terms of water. We can see that the density of mercury is very high, so the dimension is or the magnitude is very small. Here the density of water is way less than compared to mercury. So the magnitude is very much higher than that of mercury. Okay. So here the same value in terms of mercury was 0.092. Here the same value has been got as 1.1592 meters of H2. So once the head is known, this head in terms of water should be substituted to the theoretical discharge. So theoretical discharge formula we have already derived in fluid mechanics subject. So this is the derived formula. So where A1 is the area of the or cross section area of the pipe, A0 will be the cross section area of the orifice. So 2g is both constant. So where g is the gravitational constant, h is in terms of head in terms of H2O, and then A1 is cross section area of the pipe and A0 is the cross section area of the orifice. So implementing this, we will get to know the theoretical discharge. Theoretical discharge in the sense, if there is no resistance at all offered by the orifice, then what would have been the discharge? That discharge has been represented or it has been extracted from this particular formula. This theoretical in the sense, when there is no resistance offered for the flow of water by the orifice or by the pipe section, only then it is a hypothetical value. The actual discharge is found. It is found by the rotometer which has been already calibrated. So the actual discharge what we are getting is 3.34 into 10 to the power of minus 4 meter cube per second. To find the coefficient of discharge, it is Q actual by Q theoretical. So always the CD value will be always less than unity or 1. Never ever it can cross the value of 1. So, but the CD value for different flow measuring devices comes out to be in different ranges. Suppose if I take the CD value of Venturi, it will be nearly in the range of 0.92 to 0.96. If we come to orifice, it varies from 0.5 to 0.7, around this range. That means to say that the CD of orifice will be always lesser than the CD value of Venturi. The reason has already been explained while explaining the Venturi. That is because of the gradual converging of the flow and gradual expansion of the flow, or because of the very long divergence section, the losses is very less in case of Venturi. Here the things are happening pretty much instantaneously, or the contraction and the divergence sections are in comparison with the Venturi, it is very short, so the loss has got amplified. And once we try to calculate the CD, which is the standard formula Q actual by Q theoretical, we got around 0.55. It is a unitless quantity. It is the ratio of Q actual by Q theoretical. The CD value of orifice what we got is 0.55.